Why Mary Mapes' story?
A few different reasons. I first came to Mary's story. It's based on the movie's based on a book that Mary wrote, and I sort of watched all this kind of unfold, as sort of we all did, kind of as a citizen, and then never sort of thought about it as a film. And then I read Mary's book, and she wrote the book right after she was fired. So it was very raw, and it was very fresh in her mind. So it was only about a year later that it was published, and I read it, and I was so taken by how much I didn't know about a story I thought I knew a lot about. And I loved the idea of going behind the curtain of how stories like this are made. And was also just very, very taken by her as a character and as a person. And then I went down to Texas and I spent some time with her. And she's so funny and so honest and so human. And I just sort of fell in love with the idea of telling this story through her eyes.
Brad, you guys were interested in Mary, but you had to actually persuade Mary. This is not the sort of greatest moment in her life that you've chosen to portray on screen. So what was that task of talking her into allowing you to make this film?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have been in the position that Jamie had already convinced her by the time Jamie came to me. And
Which is what makes you such a good producer.
Listen, it is the best partner anyone could ask for, exactly. No, but I did then, once I got involved and Jamie and I both also started talking to Dan and Mary. And yeah, it's a very difficult thing to ask someone for their blessing to tell a story and dramatize on a huge screen what is, in fact, one of the most probably painful periods in their professional lives. I think in some ways they probably didn't believe this was ever going to actually happen, so it was likely tempered by that in some respect. But no, I think it was a great testament to Jamie and the work that he did and the passion as a storyteller and a filmmaker to say this is how I see the story and how I see the movie.
How is Mary Mapes doing?
She's good.
Yeah,
actually,
what's she up to?
Which is not something I really could have said for the last 9 years. So that's sort of nice to be able to say. No, Mary is doing, I think, well. She, when I met her, I met her in 2006, and she was basically still in a defensive crouch from everything. And she never went back to journalism. And I don't think ever could have if she'd wanted to, and probably didn't want to. She did some work on documentaries, and she did some ghost writing, because she couldn't, put her real name on stuff. But she's doing really well, and I've gotten to see her sort of throughout this process, kind of going around with the film, and it's nice to see. We when we were in New York City, she came, and the first time I went to New York with her is we went to meet some former CBS colleagues, and watching her sort of walk around with her, sort of head down and her shoulders slumped, was very, very different from seeing her walk into the premiere for the film, which was across from Black Rock, by the way, crazily. And she walked in head high and comfortable and confident, and it was nice to see her that way.